Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Adventures with Stephers podcast. We've made it to episode 49. Yes, 49. I had to double check myself there. And we're one episode away from my goal of 50 for the year of 2022. So that's exciting. This is also the last episode in November because Thanksgiving, holiday things. Let's be honest, there was no one available to talk to, and I got some things I gotta do. So, we're gonna take a little break for the holidays, and it's fine. It's all good. And then my 50th episode will be coming in December before Christmas, because we're also gonna take a break for the rest of the year, but later. I'm waving my hand. If you're not watching this on YouTube, I'm waving my hand in a really obnoxious manner. But I'm back. I'm having a lot of repeat guests. I realized within a few weeks of each other. I had Jen Dillo, and then before that I had Dillo's Diz, and now Holly's back. Holly was on episode 44, 22 and 44. Is that? Yeah, look at us now. She's 49. So, I mean, I guess it was more than a few weeks, but she's back, y'all. Hello and welcome. And we're sticking with the mental health theme. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, honestly, the last 2 weeks, the Dillos, honestly, every time I talk to them, provide such quality tangent, but then tangent. You know what I'm saying? They provide a lot of tangents that are life lessons, and we get into deep conversations about literally anything and everything. And then last week I talked to Jen about mental health and what I'm doing in my mental health journey to get my life together. Hopefully, the goal is to get better, and that's what we're gonna try to do. I actually have my first appointment this week that you're listening to this, so hype. That's about the only update I have for you on that. It's fine. We're fine. We're getting the help that we need, which is the first step. But I wanted to bring Holly on because if you don't recall our episode 22, I highly recommend going back, maybe pause, get some context in episode 2022, episode 22, and then come back to episode 49. But if not, I can summarize. We've both dealt with loss, and we're coming up on what a lot of people find to be the most difficult time of year. In a general sense of when you lose someone, holidays are always more difficult, birthdays are always more difficult, and things like that. But I think there's an added element of, what's a good word to describe it? It's even harder when the person that you have lost was going through what they were going through during the holiday season. It adds an extra layer of heaviness. And that is the case in both me and Holly's situation. So figured we'd kind of talk through it, because I'm going on, what year are we in? I'm going on 10 years. Holly, what are you, two?
3?
3? I was 2 or 3. So you're at, not that there's ever really an end, but you're on the newly dealing with this. I'm on I've been dealing with this, but have I been dealing with it well? I have no idea. So I figured it'd be nice to kind of just talk about it, how we deal, how we how we celebrate the holidays despite the hardship that's always there. Something really exciting. I'm going to start this off with a very exciting part, but me and Holly are actually, we've been friends for a long time. 5, I don't know, very long time. 5. It has to be at least 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Less than 10, I want to say.
Less than 10, but at least ish 5 years. We're meeting for the first time in a few weeks. When you're listening to this, literally in a few weeks. So that's exciting. It'll be interesting because we'll talk about it in a minute, but we both have suffered like moments. We like have some moments where, you know, social situations and just like doing things in general can be hard. So I'm really excited to kind of like come together and like kind of not get through it together, but like hold hands and, you know, maybe cry together, maybe not. We'll see how that goes. But we'll definitely be writing ET together. We were just talking about it before I hit record. Y'all, that is, if you don't take anything from this podcast and who I am as a person, if we get to ride ET together, that is a monumental moment in our relationship. Monumental. Like, I didn't even care who you are, where you're from. ET, I got a new, if you're watching this on YouTube, I got a new Funko Pop. And if you're not on YouTube, like I posted it on Instagram and also TikTok. Like I have a whole shelf dedicated to ET. So I don't have a tattoo yet. It's coming. That's a story for another time. Maybe. I don't know if we should dive into a story about what ET tattoo I'm gonna get, but we'll revisit that at a later date. Holly.
Hi.
We both have been like, we knew what this episode was going to be about. I came up with the idea a few weeks ago, and we both did this thing where we're just like, we're not gonna like prepare, we're not gonna dwell, we're just gonna go right into it.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
So, holiday, the reason why I wanted to do this before Thanksgiving, I know some of my friends really don't care for it. Some of them don't really like, they find it to be more of a pain than anything else. I come from the vein of we always celebrated Thanksgiving. In a divorced household, it was very complicated. My parents would switch off who gets Christmas, who gets Thanksgiving, but something that I always enjoyed was going to my dad's parents' house. And we got this chocolate cream pie. To this day, I still get that chocolate cream pie every year. It's just, it's genuinely not even like a special bakery or anything. It's just like I think it's Edwards, whatever that famous pie company that you get at the freezer section. It's that pie. It's like a Hershey's chocolate cream pie. It is so good. And I get it every year. And that's like my Thanksgiving staple. But what's you and your family's view on Thanksgiving? Before and after, if there's a differing.
Yeah. There's definitely a differing. Growing up, we used to do like a 5K on Thanksgiving morning. You're not even surprised. I don't know why you're making that face.
I'm making that face because like, so let me tell you guys something else about me. I've just started this like workout journey of mine. Not making a huge deal out of it. I don't run. I barely walk. Let's be honest, I barely go out of my house.
It was a walk. It was a 3-mile walk in the morning.
You lost me at miles. You lost me at walking. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, so that's what we did. And then our tradition was after we did like the 5K in the morning, we would always go to Denny's and do like Thanksgiving breakfast because like my mom immigrated from China like when she was pregnant with me, and so like they don't celebrate Thanksgiving in China. And I don't know, like when she did move to America, like it was mostly my dad's family, but my grandma is that type of person that does everything. So when we moved to California, like we didn't do the whole Thanksgiving thing. A lot of people would invite us over for Thanksgiving, but like our tradition was we do the 5K in the morning, go to Denny's, and then just like chill the rest of the day. And we would mostly make like Thanksgiving sides, not necessarily the turkey. So we would have mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, stuffing, pie. I don't really know. I think we probably did like a rotisserie chicken, honestly.
Yeah. The sides are the best part. Like, yeah. Don't at me. Like, that's
they are.
Fact.
It is. Yeah. And so it was just a chill day. And then after Well, okay, so like 2019 when everything was going down, like Thanksgiving was kind of like the moment it started to click in my head that like Lily was not doing okay again. And so I remember like my in-laws had me and my family over for Thanksgiving, and like I was sitting across from Lily, and like I could just like see her like just starting to like check out and like get really tired and stuff. Like her illness, she got tired like all the time. And so like I think we had barely started eating dinner, and like she ate, and then like she was like ready to pass out at like 7 o'clock. And so my husband and I drove her home. And so to me, Thanksgiving now is like that is the last time things felt normal-ish, I guess, because everything just started to go downhill from there. And then the year after that, like my in-laws again tried having us over, and I honestly don't even remember what happened. I do recall like we tried to have Thanksgiving like with my parents, and it like we had prepared all the food and stuff, and I remember us sitting at the dinner table, and like we all had plates on our food, but no one was really eating. And
Your food on your plates.
yeah, and then I just remember like my mom left going to cry, and then I got up and like went and cried, and then like I don't know what happened after that. And then was that last year? It was 2 years ago. I don't remember. But then like the most recent thing was like I remember going to my in-laws' house and just like not wanting to be there, not wanting to do anything, not wanting to be a part of anything. And like I walked around like my in-laws neighborhood and just like had a major panic attack, and like just kind of collapsed like where I was walking like in their neighborhood, and just had my dad drive me back to their house, and my dad and I watched Ant-Man last Thanksgiving. So that's where we're at.
And that's what
So
you missed on Glee.
yeah. So, as far as this year, I know my husband has like talked with his parents and just kind of said like, I don't know what Holly is game for. We're just taking it day by day. Right now, I'm in the mindset of it's just another day. I get the day off work. We're gonna see what happens, and kind of go from there.
I I'm just trying to think of
Sorry, that
what
was a
thing to unpack
lot.
first.
That's my life story in 3 years.
So first of all, good point. It's only been 3 years for you, but it's also been 3 years for you, period. So this is also going to be a heavier episode. Did I say that already? This is going to be a heavier episode. I feel like we
I
should
think you
just
can
say that
probably
again.
tell by
By the
the
title?
title. Yeah.
Also that.
And also by the guest. Anytime Holly comes on, it's deep shit.
No, we talked about books and like Enneagrams last time.
This is true.
So
This is
we
true.
balance. It's all about balance. I can really relate to what 2 years ago, whatever year ago it was, where you were like, I have no idea what happened. Like there were plates, there was food. No, I don't know, because it happened actually the Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving. My dad or was diagnosed, I guess, because it was Thanksgiving that we spent with my mom, and then we got home. I was living with my dad. So we're gonna rewind just a smidgen. Growing up, I lived with my mom full time, I guess is the term. And then every other weekend I would go to my dad's house, and then my brother would come to my mom's. You know how that works. And then when I was in 8th grade, it happened twice, but 8th grade, my dad took my mom to court to get custody of me for the second time. The first time he lost, and this time he won. So I was about to enter high school, and he was granted custody of me. So we got into a routine of, what that looked like for us, especially because my high school was close to where my dad was, all that jazz. But a lot of it was me going back and forth, like with my books or like whatever, just Anyway, my life was made a little easier. Cut to senior year. My brother was going to college at UCF. I forgot the name of that school. My brother was very fortunate where he got into the nursing school at UCF. And I was doing my senior year stuff, extracurriculars, living my best life, like ruling the drama club. I'm not being sarcastic. Like, I was ruling drama club. I just wasn't acting because I have stage fright. That's besides the point. We'll unpack that at a later episode. So it was my mom's year for Thanksgiving. It was my dad's year for Christmas. They always split like the day of Christmas. So semantics, logistics. And I had gotten home, just walked in the door, got settled in, and my dad had like, I don't know if they did this with Lily, but when you are like, you have like a dietary issue or you have like a diagnosis and like the doctor's office prints you out some papers and staples them together and says, read up on it, or like, here's some papers. I had seen stapled papers that said lymphoma on it on our couch. And I picked it up and like, I'm a senior in high school. I'm, like I said, living my best life, doing drama, whatever. And I was like, what the fuck is lymphoma? I forgot I can curse on my own podcast. So I'm like flipping through these papers, and at the time I didn't quite understand like stages. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know. Honestly, I was naive to the whole thing. Like I like, how do you cure cancer? Like, essentially is where I was at. So after Thanksgiving, literally everything was a blur to me. I kind of checked out, couldn't tell you what that Christmas looked like. I think at that point, there are little moments where I don't know if it's like moments where I looked at him and like realized he was sick, if it was moments that just for some odd reason, like, stay with me. But the only memory that I have through the end of that year was, I have two, but the only one that wasn't in a hospital was us going to BurgerFi, just me and him, and I drove us there in a minivan. Shout out to that minivan we no longer have. And I didn't realize, it's the last photo I have of him, and I never realized, and I don't know if you probably know, so you're more kind of in tune than I was, but I didn't realize how much weight he'd lost or how sick he actually looked until I looked back at that photo and like photos from our past trips to like Universal and stuff. Because a year or two before that, we went to Grinchmas in Universal, and I have a family photo that it's crazy how different he looked. And I think that really puts it in perspective. Like, that's a photo I have framed in my house, and many people are like, well, why would you want a photo like when he was clearly sick? And I'm like, why not?
I love photos. I think photos are great.
The thing that I love most about that photo is not necessarily, I mean, I don't love that he was sick in it, but he's wearing a shirt that I had bought him from like a trip to Colorado that I went on. So like, just means a little more. He probably didn't realize he was wearing a shirt I got him. He was probably just threw somebody on. But I think that something important to note is that you dealt with this 3 years ago. I dealt with this 10 years ago. There's still blanks in time. Like, there's still shit that I either choose not to remember, or stuff that I, just, we're gonna say things I just don't remember because that's easy that way. And I will say that the only other thing that I remember was he was in the hospital and we had a very stupid argument about Sprite. Couldn't tell you the context of that argument. I'm pretty sure I bought the wrong soda Like it was something very stupid, and like your dad's lying in a hospital room and you're like, you're fighting about soda right now. Is that really what we're doing? I'm sure in therapy we'll dive in and really figure out that it really wasn't about the soda, but like I do you have any of those arguments? I mean, I know your relationship with your sister, but like everybody else doesn't know. So it's like,
Yeah, my sister and I did not get along growing up. And there was a point in time, I don't even, again, I don't know what we were fighting about. I don't even think we were fighting. I just think that she was starting to have a panic attack. She would get really anxious when there were more than two people in the room. So she could only really handle like the nurse in the room and like one other person. And so like I was there, and this person, this is pre-COVID, so anyone could just visit, like that kind of thing. And this person, friend of hers, who is kind of like uh bold, I guess. I don't know. She just showed up and she's like, "Hey, I brought like a group of people." And I was like, you can't be in here right now. Like I'll let you know when it's time." And she like would not go away. And so like Lily started to like wake up, and like there were a lot of people going on. I think my mother-in-law was in the room at that point because her and I were switching shifts kind of thing. And so there were like four or five people in the room, and she started to like freak out. And so like I'm trying to like calm her down kind of thing. And I don't exactly like remember what happened, but I just remember she was like kicking and like fighting me and trying to like bite me and stuff. And finally I just like threw her down, said fuck you, and then like ran away. And I remember calling my aunt and just being like, if she wants to die, she can go fucking die. I don't care. Like, and like, obviously, like, I know she wasn't in a good headspace. And like, I know that like she was going through something that like, I don't think she really had any control of her body. And we're all just like frustrated and all that sense and stuff. And I remember like going back like 2 days later, and my mom's saying like, she's worried that you're mad at her. I'm like, I'm not mad at her, I'm just frustrated at the situation. And like when I went back and talked with her, she was like, are you mad at me? And I was like, no, I get it. And yeah. That so I mean, like, we cleared the air on that. It's not really much of a fight, as
no, but
much
it's
as it was
something
like,
though. It's
obviously like the regrets of me telling her to fuck off. And me it like telling someone, like, if she wants to die, she can just die. Like, I'm done trying to like fight for her kind of thing, when she's obviously fighting the bigger battle.
yeah, but I think something that we do, and because I freaking do this all the damn time, is like I diminish my own, well, me, I diminish my own value as a human being, but that's, just how I am. But like we diminish our like feelings because it's like, was it you that told me that? It definitely was you that just told me that about like your feelings matter or something to that effect. It was
Mm-hmm.
something to that effect. And cool, yes, my feelings do matter, but my problems my problems aren't insignificant. Whatever you said, I'm pretty sure it was you that said it. But we diminish our problems or our feelings because someone else is fighting the bigger fight. And yes, very true. But I think something that people don't realize, we are, how do I say this? Our bodies are not fighting the disease, but we're still fighting right alongside with that person. Which, very different for me than it is for you, because it's someone more in your age bracket. It was, like a sibling is just, me and my brother don't get along very well. It would just be a different scenario in either case, because when it's your parent, they do this thing or an adult in your life. Let's be honest, it's almost every adult in your life where they look at you like you're not lesser, just you're too young to comprehend, or it's not your burden to bear, or whatever. And at some point in life, I've learned this very recently, the loss hurts more when you don't know what the hell is going on. Like, if you don't know the severity, like looking back, if I had realized it was stage 4, there weren't many options, like the I just didn't know how bad it was. And looking back on that feels really shitty. Um, for me to kind of just have to, it was just a fucking lot, honestly. And I have regrets. Like, and this is just me what ifing, but like, what if I had realized how bad it was? Would I like respond to every single text? Would I respond to every single call? Would I not have done my extracurriculars? And I guess that's the point of like adults and like people telling you like no, like not telling you, is so that you can continue living your life. But how is that fucking fair? Especially since it was just me and my brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, dare you? Thanks for looking out for me, but how dare you?
Yeah, it's
Jesus.
hard to like accept it, I guess.
But you, I don't want to get off of Thanksgiving. We were really just talking about Thanksgiving, and then we really spiraled into this whole nother tangent thing. Thanksgiving for me at that point was not the same. I think a year or two, what was that, 2013? I want to say a year or two after, me and my mom's relationship really improved after my dad died. And I want to say a year or two after he died, we actually did Thanksgiving at my grandparents', so my dad's parents' house, as like we care about you. Like, we always did it at my dad's parents' house when I was younger, so it was like this whole continuing the tradition, even though he's not there type of thing. I can vaguely remember my mom being in their house. I remember nothing else. Yeah, no, I remember absolutely nothing else from that Thanksgiving. And then I want to say a Thanksgiving or two after, it was just easier for them to not do anything. Like, they kind of just stayed by themselves. And then my grandma got sick. And she wasn't there for the next Thanksgiving. And then 2016, and then maybe a year later, maybe not even a year later, my grandfather got sick, and he was put in like one of those like assisted living, doing like physical therapy and stuff because he fell, and then he had it was just a whole another thing. And now here we are, 19, 20, 2, 4 years later, and I think I just go through the motions. Once you get married, you're kind of like, not forced, but you kind of do the in-law thing. You try to pay attention to the other parent, though it's not the same. It hits different.
Yeah.
And like, it's been 10 years, and I just feel like when it rains, it pours, and maybe I'm saying 10 years, but really it wasn't. My dad died 10 years ago, but my grandfather died 4 years ago. My grandmother died 5 or 6 years ago. Shit doesn't get easier. But like, is there not one, at least Thanksgiving wise, is there not one thing that you consistently do even though she's gone? You can say no. I just like, there's nothing, you don't eat like a something. I don't know what other people eat. You just
I
don't.
just make it through the day. I tried the first year, and then last year I tried again and it didn't end well, and we'll see where this year takes us. But
I
I
say
mean,
pie.
my husband just kind of told his parents like, "Hey, Holly's probably not going to be up for it, so don't plan on us being there, but if she makes it, great." And, they're fine as far as I know. At the
Yeah,
same
I
time, I'm
mean,
like, I got to take care of myself and how I'm going to handle that day. So, I don't know.
yeah, but then it's like, what do you do? I mean, nothing. The point is nothing. But it's like, what do you do instead? What do you do to fill the void? What do you do? Because there's a level of distracting yourself, and then there's a level of falling apart, which sometimes they go hand in hand, and then sometimes you're able to do one or the other.
I don't know. I don't really have any plans. I honestly will probably just like wake up that day and see how I feel. I'll probably end up just sitting on the couch and reading or gaming or something and eating a whole lot of carbs with it.
I'm gonna say pie again. Pie is a
I might get a chocolate pie just for
okay.
you.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say, honestly, I don't like pie. And I was like, why are we
No,
friends? That's
no, no.
disrespectful to my livelihood. Um, yeah, I think it's funny because I mean, it's easy to say, like, I could do this, but I think there's something about how it shows how people deal with things differently, but like I just throw myself to like 10,000 different things. And you're like, cool, sitting on the couch, gaming, reading a book.
I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
The less expectations I give myself, the more I can kind of focus on my body.
What's that like? I think that's something I do so poorly, and I
It's
hope I
hard
can
because
get better.
I also like to move a million miles in a different many directions, but
But you let yourself, I mean,
I
I
have
say let
to.
very loosely, but you let yourself feel the not incapableness of it, but I mean, it's essentially the hurt of it all, and like the I need to stop, I need to pause, I need to like you let yourself do that, and I still feel the guilt of doing that. Or what is that thing? Like you shove it down and shove it down, and then at some point it just like you have no choice but to feel it. Like I get that.
Yeah,
But at some I still can't do it.
one day, maybe.
I was like, one day, this is goes to show 1 year, 1 month, 10 years. It's all
Hmm.
the same. It's just all the same shit, honestly. What does Christmas look like? Because Christmas is worse. I'm just escalating this train. We're
Uh,
going all in here.
Christmas is
Christmas
so just to
is
remind
starting now.
everyone, my sister passed away the day after Christmas, and so like Christmas was spent in the ICU with her. Also, as a reminder, my husband and I, we were stuck on a cruise ship in the middle of nowhere during this time. So that's a whole lot of other issues that I'm working with. Um, I don't even remember the first year of Christmas. I don't remember like at all what even happened. I don't even remember. I don't even remember if we did gifts. I don't remember who was home. I don't remember if I got out of bed. Like, I don't recall anything. I feel like, oh, you know what? No, I do remember that we tried to do presents because like Christmas was like, everyone had their own section of presents and we'd go around like youngest to oldest and open one gift at a time. And we tried to do that. My mom was not up for it. And honestly, my mom wouldn't open anything. She wouldn't talk to anyone except for my husband. So she only opened it if it was from my husband. Everyone else, whatever. Um, last year we were in Hawaii because my two sisters live in Hawaii. So we went there for Christmas. I had a major panic attack waking up Christmas morning, and I changed my flight like 4 days early to go home that day because I was not okay. I don't know. I couldn't. It was beyond, I don't know. It was crazy. So I flew home on Christmas last year, and yeah. And just kind of like stayed in bed. So there's that. And then I do remember like the day after Christmas last year, like I just mentally was checked out. We had some friends who invited us to go out to like Korean barbecue, and I remember thinking like feeling guilty for like wanting to go out like on the day of the anniversary of my sister's death, and just like having all sorts of feelings of like, do I go? Like, do I just like stay here and mope today? Like, I don't know. And my husband was like, "We'll do whatever you feel like doing. I'll be wherever you want me to be." And we ended up going out, and it was like a good distraction. So this year, I have no idea what's in store. I do know that my sisters are coming here, and my dad had mentioned like I think it'd be good if like we did something to honor her, and part of me is like, I'll be in bed. I don't want to do anything. And he was just like, okay. So I don't know what this year has in store for us, but basically like last year we kind of all decided, like my family, we just kind of all decided like we were going to stop doing presents because I don't know, just not us. So I actually made also the like conscious decision that I don't do Christmas gifts. Like basically gifts are like, hey, I saw this and I thought of you, and I will just give it to you at like whatever time. Like I used to like save gifts all year long for Christmas, and now it's like if I see something, I just give it to you. So I think that's kind of where like my whole family is also at. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's funny that you say like we just decided we're not doing this. I think, and now that I'm reflecting as we're having this conversation, because that's what we always do when we have these talks. I don't remember if this started right after my dad passed or later on. I just know at some point I stopped. This is going to sound so terrible, and I'm sorry to any and all of my friends and people listening to this. I stopped caring about the societal obligation that you have to purchase gifts for people.
Yeah.
I remember, oh, was this Christmas? So Jackson and I started officially dating after Christmas. So I spent two sorry, I'm like having like a 2 years after my dad died moment, and like I realized how like soon that is. Uh I spent Christmas with my mom in where she lives, and then I went and stayed with Jackson and his family for New Year's. Upon reflection, wow, 2 years. Are you okay, Stephers? Are you okay? The answer is no. I hand painted him a picture frame that year for Christmas, and I genuinely can't remember any gift ever after that. I think when we first moved here, we did a little Christmas, but it took me I really genuinely want to say the year that we got engaged, and it could have been like right before the holidays at Universal. Honestly, Mardi Gras at Universal, but also the holidays. It was so hard for me to be okay to go back there. And now that I have, I realize how much like love there is and how much like joy there is. So I'd rather do that, and I try to do that every year, which is what we get to do this year. Show us. I just don't like my gifts to people are like, you want to stay at an upgraded hotel? Let me pay the difference from what you were going to pay. Or like I couldn't even tell you what else I like most people just want money or like to spend money on stupid shit. Not I mean, no offense to whatever people like, but like I'm like I value my money. Like I work and that sounds terrible. Sorry, but it's like it's just how I feel, I think, at this point. And Jackson and I are people 9 times out of 10 where if we want something, we just get it. Like it doesn't matter the time of year, it doesn't matter whatever it is. So I very much resonate with like if I see something that like if I think about somebody, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
Like I got something for a couple of my friends and I was like, saw it and I thought of you. No big deal.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like part of the reason why my family we stopped like wanting to like do presents is because my dad has always been the kind of person that's like time is the greatest gift kind of thing. And so we just kind of all were like, you know what? Just every year we'll just all get together and spend time with each other and whatever that day looks like, that's what we'll do.
I've how do I say this without being some type of way? I was very fortunate growing up where we might have not had the biggest tree, but we had like you know when you're grown up, like you're spoiled. You get a lot of stuff from people, you know? And as I've gotten older, those things turned into trips.
Mm-hmm.
So like my that I can remember, like my freshman year of high school, we went to Vermont. The year after that, probably Universal. The year after that, also probably Universal. And then my dad got too sick to go, and then we stopped going to Universal. But oh my God, that it really is because he got sick in 2012 because he died in 2013. Look at all these gears and things clicking in my head in
Yeah.
this conversation. Like, if you can just see my brain moving, it's really crazy. So, yeah, literally, it was Vermont. We went to Universal. That following year, he got sick. So, we didn't do anything. Huh, look at me holding my pictures even closer to my heart now. And then what did I do that first year he passed? Nothing. And you know what happened last year? I was like, what's the point of even I got married last year, fun fact. Like second round 2 wedding. I was like, we're not even gonna be around. Let's not even waste our time decorating. It's very much a fluid thing because it's like some years I'm like, I want to decorate for Christmas and make my heart happy. And other times I'm just like, this is shit. Why am I forced to do like why am I
Yeah.
forced to like
I actually just gave
deal with
away like
this?
all of my like holiday decor to like my mother-in-law because she loves Christmas. But like, and I used to like take a week off from my job, like the
A
week of
week?
a week.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say a week to decorate, and I was like,
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
no,
go
no. Like,
girl.
no, I took a week off because I didn't want to see Christmas trees. I still can't listen to holiday music. Um, just I can't watch Christmas movies, which really sucks. Like it really sucks because like my husband and I like our song was White Christmas. Like both of us would like sing that song together and like I don't know, it just had like it's just different now. Like I don't go out to like the stores just because like I have a really hard time seeing it and hearing it. And I don't know, just the day after Halloween when things start to change, the weather gets colder, everyone's like, Halloween's over, it's time for Christmas, you know, bypassing Thanksgiving, but whatever, it's fine.
Me, I
Um,
do that. I'm the problem.
and it's like November 1st until the end of the year. I am it I have to like put more effort into being okay.
I will say, well, it's a lot harder for you for many reasons, but I will say that you won't have to try as hard. At some point in life, I couldn't tell you when that is, but at some point in your life, it it won't be as hard. Some even say it's like riding a bike, like you'll get back on and like it'll feel some sort of normal.
Yeah, I already like kind of seeing that. Like this year, I didn't request time off for like the week. I got the day off, but I didn't request the week off. So I'm already kind of like feeling like there's some baby steps in a way.
Oh, I mean, I
And
think that that's a huge, I mean, you can say it's a baby step, but I think that that's a huge step. I never took off like the week because like mine isn't tied to like a holiday, but like I used to just wallow the whole day. And then at some point I realized I was like, this isn't, at some point I realized it's better to distract myself than wallow.
yeah,
So then it turned into me not necessarily going out, but me like surrounding myself with people that may or may not have been good for me. That's, you know, besides the point, doing things that may or may not be besides the point better for you. And then at some point that turns into like you just living your life, which is something that I strive for. Some years are better than others, some years are harder than others. Um, but I don't think you can belittle that because that's a huge, you see it as a small thing. But like knowing the journey that you're on or relating to the journey that you're on, it's very much like, damn, okay, I see you.
thanks, girl.
Just saying. And like I will literally see you. Like oh like I like can mentally prep you. Like hug, holiday hug. Like you'll get your whole holiday fix in the week before and then
Yeah,
it'll be
I
fine.
mean, that's why I'm a little bit nervous, but it'll be okay. I think. I don't know. We'll
I
see what
mean, it might
happens.
not be, and then that's okay too. I just think the more going back to like us like just hitting record and having this conversation, I think it's just better when we don't dwell on it and we kind of just jump. What's the correct way? Feet first, head first. Something first when you just go right into it. Clearly, I'm not a swimmer either, so jump right in.
Yeah.
Right, that's a song. I'm mixing song and like actual facts. So sorry. I think that there's something about it. I think if we can take away the heartbreak of it, which is very difficult to do, so it might not even be possible. But if you see us like hang out, was like, hey, I'm meeting my internet friend for the first time in forever, and like not looking ahead too far, I think it can provide some sort of comfort. Not like a gaping hole being fixed in your heart, but like I think it could provide some comfort. And like the Grinch is rude, so like it's not like it's holiday cheer at that point. Like it's like, you know,
Yeah.
the Grinch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sassiness.
So I think it is difficult. I have learned to love Christmas again, but I still don't I think my limit is like visiting the theme parks. Really, I think that's really it. And I think that being able to share that time with Jackson, which I won't be like this year, but I think being able to share that time with Jackson is very it's helping him see a part of my life that he wasn't there for. And I think that that's one of the things that I think hurts me the most. There are many things, and there are many regrets that I have. Many regrets is a little dramatic, but there are regrets I have in my life about that time. But him just not being around to see the people that I've found and have now in my life, I think is probably the hardest part. Because sure, like I have a job, I have a house, like I have like accomplishments, but I think my support system through all of this and like that I've been able to grow with, I think has changed a lot since he was around. And I think that it would have been really nice for him to kind of, you know, be merry with them.
Yeah.
I'm really just throwing all those holiday puns in there. I think the one thing though, because mine goes through the hall. So mine was relatively quick. It was November, December, January. And then I kind of just wrestle with like regret and like, well, what if I just texted him back? What if I got those final moments? What if because I mean, I wasn't there. I was there. Like you were on a cruise. Like I was there. And then at some point it wasn't clear like really what was going on. And at some point we had to like rest. So then we left. So then it's like you wake up in the morning and like your whole life changes. That's something I wrestle with very much. Like I say now that I'm a terrible texter and like I do this thing where like I open text and I don't respond. I will tell you, and I'm not saying this in any sort of way, if I value you as a human being and I'm not having some sort of hard time mentally, you will always find me replying to you, overcompensating for the fact that the last morning I could have talked to him, I didn't. And I wrestle with that every single day.
Yeah.
Like whether I say something or not, like I wrestle with it. I remember what the text said. I dwell on that. And then it like spirals into our last conversation.
Yeah.
I don't remember our last conversation. I just remember the text I didn't respond to. Which
I think that's pretty common. Not like, putting
yeah,
your
no.
thing aside, but I'm just saying like I feel like, you're not alone in that experience. Like everyone kind of has a moment like that.
I would think you do too, though. Like you weren't,
Her and I like kind of messaged a little bit back and forth. She actually left me on red, so
mood.
But I remember like sending her pictures of like all the Disney, because we went to Disney World. So we took pictures of like all the Christmas trees at the resorts in Disney Springs, and I sent those to her. And I just remember, I think the last thing she said to me was like, I'm glad you're in a happy space for me. Eat like a Danish pastry or something for me or something like that. Yeah.
I want a pastry now. But I think that it's the little, honestly, like mine was very much like, I'm cold. I think this just goes to show like you could have such a simple text. Simple. My dad's last text to me was, I'm cold. I thought absolutely nothing of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing of it.
I text people I'm cold every day.
My first thought, I'll bring him a sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Did I could have said it to him. Like thinking back to the moment, I'm like, really, what would I have said differently? Like, what response would have been good enough where I wouldn't feel like shit today? That's the assumption. In my head, the assumption is that I would have said I love you at the end of that reply. Truth is, would I have? Probably not. It probably would have been, I'll bring you a sweater later. Maybe a heart.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe an exclamation point. Like, And this was like the T9 days. There, I didn't have a keyboard phone. Like I wasn't fancy. It was me like doo 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 doo. So really, like, not to, I wasn't fancy like that. But yeah, I was still using T9. Even when smartphones originally came out, I was too spoiled by like the T9 thing. So I dwell on it knowing logically like there's probably really nothing I could have said that would have like fixed it. But the fact that I don't know, like the fact that maybe I could have, would have, should have, maybe it would have made me feel better if I responded. And then it made it not better. I don't want to say it made it better because it really didn't. A few years after he passed, I found like handwritten like letters that he wrote. It was very much a dad thing where it was like these are all my like bank accounts and all that stuff, but one of the papers had like notes that he wrote to me and my brother and then to a couple of his friends, which we didn't really talk to anymore, but it was like if like you happen to talk to this person, like let them know, and it made it better, but also you still dwell. Like it
Yeah.
I don't know how to make things better. I will say I genuinely hope that you get your love for Christmas back. I think that that's something, and I know it's so minuscule and like not a big deal to a lot of people, but me finding my joy at the theme parks during the holiday season helps me connect with them a little bit more in like whatever capacity that means. Uh, and Grinchmas is just like a thing. Like he really loved the Grinchmas show, so just having that whole vibe, that's probably why Seuss Landing is like my favorite area in the park. I just you'll get there. I want that
Yeah.
for you, you know?
Thanks. Yeah.
I just
Baby
want that
steps.
for him.
Take it day by
Until
day.
then, like maybe at some point you'll do the 5K thing on Thanksgiving again. Like maybe, like if not, cool, but like maybe you will, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll look at a tree and not want to cry. I don't. Not a
Yeah.
tree, like a Christmas tree, not like a normal tree. I just want to let everyone know. Like it's hard. It
Yeah.
really is
I'm
hard.
just, taking it day by day. There's just like a couple like, reminders that I tell myself like during this season that go through my mind every day. So I've just been reminding myself through this season every day, like, it's okay to say no, like listen to your body, like it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be happy, those kinds of things. And um
I think that's important though. Like,
yeah.
yeah, all those things, but I think the most important one on that list that took me a while to get there. I mean, I probably still there trying to get there, but it's okay to be happy. And I
I
think
know.
that
That's the hard one.
that's the
You feel
most hard
guilty.
one. Yeah, every day.
You feel guilty for like being happy.
You you feel guilty for wanting whatever it is, whatever the thing or the things or the moments, whatever, like that want. I always find myself like, hmm. And I like simmer with it and I'm like, at some point where my life still goes on. And this is a terrible thing to say, but it's just something that I have to tell myself. My life is still going on and like I have to live it. There are many things in this world that scare the shit out of me where like I don't want to leave my house and I don't feel comfortable. Like I don't really feel comfortable going to the movie theater still. I've seen one movie since that like my fear started and there are so many other fears that I have in my life about different situations that I think that if I can find the things that bring me joy and happiness, like I have to take advantage of those while I can. I mean, I've made my way back to the holiday season, I will say that. I've never been a Halloween person, sorry, not sorry, but I've shit, I even got married again in December. So you pay tribute how you can, you remember them as you how you can. At some point, you'll be chasing happiness. I mean, you are chasing happiness, but like at some point, like that happiness, you'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. You're not there yet. But like you'll get there. And I think, or I hope that our trip is like a little sparkle, a little glimmer, like a little, like you're in a dark tunnel, that kind of vibe. But like,
Yeah.
I hope it just helps.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Again, just that time I'm
It's hard.
trying to distract myself and just reminding myself like, if I have to take a step back and go back to the hotel and just
Do it. No one's
that's
gonna
what
judge you.
that's what I need to do. So
I think
again,
that's
just
also
like
important. Like holiday time, well, all times are hard, but holiday times, especially if this is like a harder time for you,
mm,
find a good support system because there's nothing worse than feeling the way you feel and having somebody judge you for it.
yeah, of course. Like have a good support system, have an exit strategy. I
Also
more
that.
so often than not will always drive myself because I need that freedom of if something starts to happen, I need to be able to leave right away. Um, that happened at one point, like we were out to dinner, we were going to do something else, and during dinner, like I started feeling like really anxious, because we had gone to like one of my sister's favorite restaurants, and every time I go to Cheesecake Factory, like I don't know, something in me just like changes, and I was not feeling very well, and I was like, I'm sorry, I have to go home. Like, yeah. So give yourself like an exit strategy, like, and it's okay to like leave early. So I just keep reminding myself that, and I keep reminding myself that like, like the people that you're surrounding with, so like the people that I was with, like they didn't think anything of it. Like they were just like, okay, yeah, no problem. I didn't have to explain myself. So just find your people. If you don't have people, I'll be your people.
Yeah, we're here. Like this episode was very much focused on like me and Holly's journey, but like
And we are
we
not like
yeah.
credentialed
I gotta pay somebody for that.
professional.
Yeah.
Like we don't really know what we're talking about. This is obviously like just
Our experience.
our experience and attempts of dealing with it.
Yeah, but I think it's just important, like especially I mean, in my situation, like I put myself on the internet every day, every week, every whatever. It's very much important to realize that like there are times that are harder for people. Sometimes it's not the holidays, sometimes it's just Tuesday. In my situation, holidays are extra hard. So I think the reason why I wanted to make this episode was because a kind of like a check for myself, but also like a hey, like I'm a human being too, and like I go through shit, and I know that you're going through shit, and we can go through shit together. And I just said shit way too many times, but like just and also just to check on your friends because this is a really tough time for a lot of people, and me and Holly are just two of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of damn people in the world. That realization just hit me as well. Okay. Countdown to our trip. I'm turning it into something positive where I have many plans for my trip week. So everyone at home or wherever you are, you'll hear from me right before my trip. And then you will hopefully hear from me right after my trip. But this trip is going to be packed full of fun. I'm also going to be seeing Angie while we're down there, and Ponyo has been on an episode, and Uwu has been on an episode. So if you haven't listened to them, go back. But me and Angie have a lot of things planned, and then we're hanging out with Holly all weekend long. Hanging out with the rest of the gang all weekend long. It's gonna be a lot. We're gonna ride ET together. It's gonna be wholesome. It's gonna honestly, That's gonna be the highlight of the trip. I don't care what anyone says. Like holidays, yay. Grinches, yay. Riding ET with Stephers should always be someone's highlight of their trip. I mean, you can disagree with me, Holly, but like I'll just say you're wrong.
No, I'm gonna say that's the one thing I'm kind of looking forward to is like having that moment together because ET plays a special-ish part in both of our losses lives. So
I don't know.
I think
I don't
it's
know
kind of
about
funny.
yeah, it's it's ouch. I just punched my desk. But it'll be great. It'll be wholesome. We're gonna eat a lot of food. There's going to be so much food. If you don't know, if you haven't seen my social media, I will be attending my first ever Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Hype, dressing up for that, so stay tuned for that. And then we're doing 2 nights at the Orlando Informer meetup. If you haven't heard of the Orlando Informer meetup, it is an after-hours event at Universal Orlando Resort. It's a very hype, unlimited food and drinks, non-alcoholic, of course. Churros all night long, popcorn all night long, ices all night long, like all the things. Like you get all the restaurants. It's just so good. They also have some exclusive like chicken wing situation this year. I'm gonna go look through the menu and like check off a bunch of things. But Holly, thanks for talking about really deep things that make us want to cry. And
Always.
she says always, but like really, it's always. Where can people where are people finding you? I forget what you plug. Do you plug anything anymore?
I got an Instagram.
Oh yeah, she's gonna plug her Instagram. Yes.
That's exciting.
It is
what
pretty
is it?
exciting. Oh my
All I do is
gosh.
post my daily workouts and things that I distract myself with. So
Do you know what it is, or should I tell the people what it is? Because I know what it is.
I think it's what is it? Holly and her
Holly and her
distractions.
distractions. Yes.
Holly and her distractions. Got really creative.
I mean, yeah, we talk about a lot of book things. She posts workouts that I don't understand, and I'm just like, what is that like?
I mean, it was really, I stayed off social media for a really long time and I just needed a place to track my workouts in like an easy way that I could see them. So if that interests you, go follow it. Sometimes I'll post food recipes, maybe, possibly.
There are a lot of maybe
Book
possibilities in this.
things.
Book things. That's where I'm at.
What else do I
Sure, all
distract
the book
myself
things.
with? I don't really know.
Food.
What I
Oh, you said
try,
food.
yeah, food, books, and working out. So if that's
Sounds
your
like a great
fancy,
plan.
Holly and her distractions.
Period. I will link it in the description down below and in the information on the episode if you're listening to this through your ears and not seeing it with your eyes. Oh, that was cute. I liked that. I'm gonna keep that. If you're new here, hello. This was a heck of an episode for you to start listening to my podcast. I promise there are more lighthearted episodes if you scroll back a little bit. There's a whole 48 others that you check out. Actually, there probably is 49 others because I think there's like an intro episode. Like that's even more lighthearted than this episode. If you don't follow me on social media, Adventures with Stephers on Instagram and TikTok, Adventures with Stephers, Stephers. And then Twitter is It's Stephers, ITS, STPHERS. YouTube at Adventures with Stephers. I have my own handle now because YouTube implemented some cute handles. So go subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Go like this video and then subscribe. Do I have any other social media? I probably have 10,000 things, y'all. Those are the main ones. If you think of anything else, let me know. I keep telling myself I'm going to start streaming games again. We might revisit that next year. We'll see. I feel like that's one of those things that gives me a lot of pressure to fulfill, and I don't know if I'm there yet. So, stick to YouTube. It'll probably be on YouTube. I know that currently I can't monetize like that right now on YouTube, but that's okay. I'm here for a good time. And if you ever want a game, let me know. My Discord server is linked on my socials, so go check that out. And there's something else I just added that's linked on my socials, and I can't remember what it is. So go check that link out, and then we'll find out together. I hope you all have a great day, night, evening, weekend, month, whenever, wherever you're listening to this. I also hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving, since I will not be talking to you until December. Don't forget. So if this is like your first episode, like you can potentially catch up to my podcast in the time. If you listen to a few a day, you could catch up by the next episode. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.